Is it worth photographing local wildlife? Now, the reason I'm asking this question, is it worth photographing wildlife, is because when we look on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we see wildlife photographers going out into these beautiful places and photographing beautiful birds, animals, and we sort of sit at home and think like, I've only got time to go to my local park or my local waterway. Like for me, Lake Eden is only about a 5-minute drive from my place. Is it worth for me to come here? When everybody else goes far and they get awesome photos. Well, this is what we're going to talk about today. Lake Eden at the moment doesn't have much wildlife. So sometimes, like you, I think like, I know I'm not going to get many photos. Is it really worth for me to come down here and just take a few photos when I could be doing something else? Is it really worth me coming here? If that is your mindset, then you've got to change your mindset. Because ask yourself this question. These photographers that go out into far-flung places and photograph awesome wildlife photography, do you think that they just bought a camera and go, I'm going to go to Singapore, I'm going to go into the jungle of the Amazon and photograph some beautiful wildlife? The answer is emphatically no. Where do you think they started? In their local area. Because, like in life, practice makes perfect. If you can't take photos of the local wildlife in your area, how do you think that you're going to cope when you go to an area that you've never been before? You've never experienced that light. I travel to Southeast Asia quite a bit. The light over there is very harsh, not like in Australia. When I went over there in the late 2000s, I had to rethink my photography. There was no like, oh, it's all right, I can just adjust that in Lightroom. No, it was either hit or miss. But I'm glad that I had the experience in Australia to make me realize, okay, this is harsh light. I came up with a solution of dealing with that harsh light. But if I just bought my gear, traveled to Thailand, I probably would have given up taking photos of wildlife because the light was just nothing like I'd ever experienced before. Practice. Go to your local park. Even if there's not many birds around, even if there's not much wildlife, just practice, because the more you practice, the better your skills are going to be. And to this day, I am still building up my knowledge. This is why I come to a local place. Now, I told my wife this morning, I'm just going to go to Lake Eden just for a short walk around, see what's there. She said, but Charles, we just went there last week. There wasn't many birds around. I said, yeah, I know, but I know it's getting very close to the time when the sacred kingfishers are going to nest. Now, I want to be sure that they're nesting in the same location they were last year. But if they've changed, then I want to hunt out a spot where I can set myself up to get the best shots of the nest. So I got here about 9:30 this morning. The lake is around a 1.4 kilometre walk around. I'm about 3/4 way around here. But when I got here, I started walking around. I took some photos of some Pacific black ducks, a bit of video. Pacific black duck preening itself in the water, just shooting through some breeds here. That looks quite nice. Kept walking around a bit. I saw a water dragon, took a couple of photos of it, a bit of video of this pied cormorant. And it was just playing hide and seek with me. It was just on the edge of this little lagoon and it was just poking its head up and down, just looking at me. It was so funny. And I was glad to have captured some video of this. And after this, I just walked out and I noticed this lady was just looking up a tree and she was trying to take some photos and she was talking on the phone to somebody. Just overheard her saying, oh, there's a little ring-tailed possum in this tree. You know, I think you should come down because the crows are hassling it. And she hung up the phone and I said, oh, where is it? She pointed out to me and I was able also to take a bit of video. I don't know if the video's turned out. If you're seeing it now, it means it's turned out. And I was so rapt. This is in my local area. Some people go way out of the Brisbane area to get the chance of seeing little ring-tailed possums. Lake Eden, 5 minutes away from my home. I got the chance of experiencing this for the first time. Whether it's a local lake, a lagoon, or just a local park with a lot of trees around, there's always wildlife around. So think about improving your photography by going to a local area. And you don't have to go far. Like around the Brisbane area, we're very lucky. We have so many parks. For me, it's a 2-minute walk to my local park. I can walk for about half an hour along a bush trail, and it is just so enjoyable. There's not much wildlife. It doesn't matter. Whatever I see, I take a photo of. This is how my photography has become better, and this is how your photography can become better. So think about how to improve your wildlife photography. How do you do that? Well, you do that by practicing in your local area first, because once you get used to the light, to the conditions, today is very windy, and if you're photographing birds in a tree in a windy day, believe me, it's not that easy. The branches are moving. You've got to get used to sort of swinging your camera around, because if you're just sitting still trying to photograph on a place and say, well, I'm just going to wait until he comes back, how many photos are you going to take? Not a lot. Enjoy your photography. Learn to photograph in a local area. One of the reasons why it is worth photographing the local wildlife is that it gives you the opportunity of perfecting your skills as a wildlife photographer. Because by the time you go on holidays, by the time you go out to these beautiful places to photograph wildlife, whether it's birds, animals, you want to have the skills so that you can capture amazing photos of the wildlife that you see. And how do you do that? Well, you do that by perfecting your skills in your local area, in your local park, at your local lake. Look at this picture of this dusky moorhen. I was kneeling quite low to the ground to get as close to the ground as possible to give me this view so that all the background is blurred out. This picture looks very good. The foot is outstretched. You can see how big the foot is, but look at the head. It's not looking at the camera. It's just looking in front. Now, look at this photo. The foot is still outstretched. Now we have the head facing towards us. It is a much better photo. It is more captivating than this one. Most people would be happy with this one, but here is practice makes perfect. Well, after I stopped, I walked about 100 meters, got a couple of more photos of some local birds and some video of a water dragon. And I got some close-up video, and you can see the spikes on the back of its head, so detailed. And this is why they call them a water dragon. They really look ferocious up close. I hope this video has been of value to you. And if it has, give it a big thumbs up, stay safe, enjoy your wildlife photography, and I'll see you next time.